Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome my friends, my name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel. And yes, the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. I'm here to provide you another week of therapy. We got some pens, we got some ink, and we got some paper. We got some currently inked. We're going to see what we're going to ink next week. And we've got some commentary, questions and answers, viewers' comments. Great show ready for you to go. So without any further ado, Fountain Pen Therapy presents the weekly recap for August the 10th, 2025. So for my first segment, as usual, we'll start to look at a little bit at the market, see what's out there. And I've picked a few choices for you. We can discuss them, look at them, and it gives you an idea of what's out there. Now, this doesn't mean that you got to buy this. It's just to give you an idea of what the market is all about. And then you pick and choose, you plan, you list, and you prioritize. And I mean, you can't buy them all, right? Only Vincenzo can buy them all. Or has to buy them all. He's got the channel. You can view, enjoy, and then pick and choose. Okay, so without any further ado, let's go to my overhead camera. Just joking, folks. Okay, here we are. First thing, what have we got? Take a look at this. This is the Montefiore Metal Smooth Surface Fountain Pen. Now, you remember that there is a custom Urushi big pen that's out there. In fact, I've got one. Let me just take it out for you right now. Let me just see. Is it around here somewhere? Okay. Actually, we'll go to my overhead camera. Remember this one? Now, I've got a red one that's like this. Okay, this is just a big metal pen. What's great about this now is that I've replaced that nib section. It comes with a number 6 size nib with my Green's hack, which is this ebonite section that accommodates Jinao number 8 size nibs and makes this, this pen much lighter. And it gives you kind of the feeling of what the big custom Urushi, the big one, feels like. Now, what we've got here is in fact the 845. So I'm going to order this. It's a little expensive. They're charging us $61 for it. But I'm going to see whether or not I can accommodate the same section. I'm going to speak to Mike Green and maybe give him more work. It comes with a number 6 size nib, I've got a feeling, although it's difficult to tell from the pictures. But this is the 845, so this will give us an idea of what the 845 custom Urushi looks like. So that's the first one I have for you. What else have I got here? Oh, yes. Okay, remember this? This is the Majon P140. It comes with a number 8 sized nib in either a fine or medium, but they've added 2 more colors or 3 more colors. The olive green, they've got this burgundy brownish color, and then this blue, little lighter blue, and Now, that has to be compared with the new P141, which again, they both look like, Montblanc 149 clones. This comes with a number 8 nib as well, either in fine or number 8. I've ordered this one already. It should be coming in, and maybe when we get to the segment involving my pen haul for this week, I expect the door to ring any second now. Maybe I will have received it in time for that segment. But for the time being, it's still in the order basket, so to speak. Hopefully it'll come in so I can show it to you. My understanding is that the difference lies, let me see, do I have it here? Where is it? Yeah, no, apologize, I had it. Yeah, right here. The P140 comes with an all brass or copper section for the piston. My understanding is the P141 may have a copper top, but the rod is made out of acrylic or plastic. So that appears to be the difference between the P140 and the P141, apart from some aesthetic, also changes. But when we do get it, we'll do some comparisons for you, so you'll have a clearer idea of where we're going. What else have I got for you? Okay, that's the 141. There's this metal, I've been fooling around with dip pens, trying to find the ideal ones. I've ordered this dip pen nib, which is a kind of a clone or an imitation of the Kakimori. So we're going to compare the Kakimori with this Chinese version and with the Colorverse, what do they call it? The satellite, I believe it is. One second, I have it in my notes. No, Colorverse Shuttle. So we'll compare the Colorverse Shuttle with this Chinese brand with the Kakimori as soon as I get all three. How does that sound? So I've ordered that. Then for inks, I've got some inks here that I notice called Ostrich Classic. I've ordered a couple. I think I've ordered this turquoise blue. I've ordered this red one, and I believe this either a darker blue or a green. I forget which, but these are Ostrich inks. They're going for $9.58. I think that's a real bargain. 48, almost 50 milliliters. We'll take a look at those inks when they come in, do some comparison and some swatching. But so far, I have not been disappointed with some of the Chinese inks that I've ordered. That's it for the Chinese market. Now, let me go to Leonardo. What I noticed is I've ordered one of these pens. My intention in the last couple of months was to go and give Leonardo a chance and kind of test all their nibs. I have their number 6 sized steel nibs. I have their number 6 14 karat nib. I have their number 8 steel nib, which I love, by the way. And I just had to add to my collection the number 8 La Fenice gold nib. I've ordered it with this Sottobosco pen. It should be very nice. And the reason why I mentioned that is that if there's an early bird special, if I'm not mistaken, okay, this is the one that I've ordered. It's 647 euros regular priced, but I believe that once you get to the cart, get 50%, 15% off with the code summer25. So if you pre-order before August the 31st, you get 15% off. And that's a great deal for me. I need to get, all of those those number 8 gold Le Fenice nibs come with pens that cost you anywhere between 550 and 650 euros, if not more. But I found that this 15% discount kind of, convinced me to go, and I love that acrylic. So stay tuned for that. I should be getting that sometime soon. In terms of notebooks, I mean, going back to school specials are near. We're already in mid-August, so you're going to start to see back to school special and back to school offerings. Sterling has come out with their 25-26 notebook kind of offerings, different sizes. They're going to use Toma River Sanson. Last year they had some issues with the bad batches of Toma River. They've been reassured by the suppliers that this year they're not going to have the same problem. The Sterling notebooks are really, really nice. They have that Toma River, and it's a good alternative to Obonichi, which are really not affordable anymore. But maybe one day we'll do a comparison between the Obonichi and the Obonichi clones in quotations. I've got a few, and maybe I can make some recommendations in that regard. If you're an Obonichi fan, there are alternatives that will cost you, much, much, much less than what the Obonichis are going for. What else have I got for you? Yes, there's the Gravitas has come out with what they call the Monster. It's this, it's a vacuum filler, but not really. They have a filling system called the Kraken filling system. It's kind of a sophisticated vacuum filler in effect. They call it a Monster just because of the reservoir here is huge, takes in a lot of ink. So it has a number 8 size nib. I still haven't figured out if those nibs are in-house or not. They look like Bach nibs, but I'm not sure. 285 euros. I found that a little steep, but it's Gravitas. Doodlebud did review a prototype to show you how finely manufactured this pen is. And Ben Walsh is an absolute artist. So for those of you who like these Gravitas pens, the Monster is out, and that should be something that you should take a look at. So that's it for what's new in the market. Plenty of choices there to peruse. Keep looking. If you find anything, by the way, during a week, or if you see anything interesting, don't hesitate to send it my way so that we can make some announcements. Right? Now, there's another thing I also want to mention. There's North American Auctions that's doing their auction tomorrow, because today is Friday. I'm starting to tape this on Friday, August the 8th, so I can actually publish this recap on August the 10th. But today I'm expecting some pens, and there's a North American auction, fountain pen auction going on tomorrow. We'll see. I've put in some bids for a couple of pens, and should I be successful in any of those bids, I'll try to splice that in this recap just to give you a heads up on what's coming in the Fountain Pen Therapy Studios. And speaking of Fountain Pen Therapy Studios, well, stay tuned for my next segment. Okay, so next segment, what's new in the Fountain Pen Therapy Studios in terms of ink, paper, and penols? Let's start with the ink, shall we? Okay, you'll recall some time ago we reviewed swatched some Rohrer Klingner inks. We did the blues. What I propose today is we're going to do the greens. I think I had 4 blues that I've shown you already. I've got 5 kind of green shades. Some are a little bit lighter than others, so we'll do the greens. Then I've got kind of a purple, and we got some red and dark red there as well, which we can do. We'll alternate from week to week. So it's the week of the green Klingner, Rohrer Klingner inks. In terms of paper, what I thought I'd do for you today is I ordered a bunch of Clairefontaine and Rhodia. I want to give Rhodia a little more of a shout out in the channel. I think I've kind of ignored it, But I've ordered some Clairefontaine. These are the French ruled paper in A5, and I've ordered some in the large size as well. This is to practice my handwriting. I then got one notebook here, which I'm putting some notes here. I've got some videos that I'm working on, so I kind of write all my notes to plan those videos. And I have another Clairefontaine Triomphe. This is the lined version. And I bought the Rhodia as well. I have Rhodia, but didn't have the white. They were all kind of beige. So what I propose for you guys today is that we're going to kind of do a, and I might choose other Clairefontaine paper other than this one, we'll see. But I'm going to do a kind of a comparison between Rhodia and Clairefontaine. I always, in my own mind, I always felt like they were practically the same paper, but I don't think it is. So we'll take a closer look at, compare Rhodia to Clairefontaine, do some swatching and some writing, and see where things stand. So let me set up and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're all set to do some of the swatching here. We got 5 inks, so we got a motor here. The first one is going to be this, what they call Lipsician Black. And I don't know if I'm going to spell that properly. So we'll uncap that. So this is more of a black that has some green overtones, I believe. But it's going to come out fairly dark, I would say to you. So Lipsician Black. Say what you say, but these classic dip pens are probably, or dip nibs are probably the best. You know, we get carried away with all these new novelties. They are novelties. And I wonder if it's worth deviating from just the classic tools that we have. And, and those classic dip nibs come in different sizes as well and cost a fraction of the cost, in my view. So, next. Tell you in a second what we're dealing with here. This is Viridian Green. Wash that out. It's a VE, no VI. So to tell you, these two paper, this, the Clairefontaine on the right and you have Rhodia on the left, are pretty similar. I know there's a difference, and you must have heard what those differences are already, but I've always kind of not gravitated towards them just because I find them a little, let me just shake that, find them just a little too coated for me, where some of the pens just don't write properly. This is Old Golden Green. I didn't dip a second time just to, here we go. Yeah, as I was saying, a little too coated for me. And I got to tell you, some pens just kind of slide right out under your sense. So what is it again? Old golden green. Yeah, and you can hear the squeak. That the paper's so coated that you could hear a squeak. I can never do this without making a mess. But that's part of the fun, I guess. Okay, so we've done that one. This one here is Verde Gris. My recollection is this one of my favorite, the Verde Gris. Let's see if that bears out. Much darker than I originally. I wonder if these inks get darker over time. Some of you, if you guys know, let me know. Verde Gris. Because I remember Verde Gris being a lot lighter than this. And these inks, you know, have been around for a while. My cabinet shelves, I've had them for many years, and I'm just wondering where, and some of you who are more technical or chemists can tell me whether or not that is a tendency for inks, the longer you keep them, that, you know, their chemistry changes. Okay, so this is the last one, and this one is Verdure. Okay, this is a more classic green, if you will. Kind of an Irish green. Well, you've got some very nice variations of green here. Okay, so this is Verdure. Okay, so we've done that lean and mean, a lot less writing just so that we can get 5 in and not bore you to death. Let's take a look at these inks or these swatches once they've all dried up, and we'll do some more detailed comparisons. We'll be right back, featuring Rhodia and Clairefontaine. Okay, so here's the pen haul for this week. It just got the packages. They just arrived. We'll open one at a time. First, this one here. Okay. What do we got? Typical bubble wrap. Ooh, Moon Man. That's one. Nothing else in here? Nope, nothing else. Throw that in the bin. And what's the second one here? And we got another one. Another Majon or Moon Man. And we got 2 Moon Mans. We'll open this one up first. See what this one says Moon Man. I've never seen this packaging before. It's the first time. Yeah, I think I know which one this is. Okay, more bubble wrap. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I've ordered the B25. I have the B25 rollerball, and we've seen that in the pens, my weapons this week. And this is the B25. Hopefully I didn't make another mistake. Here we go. And that's the fountain pen. Here you have it. Nice light pen. Always curious to see if this pen matches up to the real one, the Parker B25. But we'll put that aside. and we'll ink it up and test it. This one here, I think I know what this is as well. There it is. Now, gentlemen and ladies, this is the, regular instructions as they always have. This is the Majon P141, and wow, that's a nice red color. It's a little bit more muted on when you see it on advertised on AliExpress. It almost looks like a burgundy. It's really a nice red. And I'm curious to see how this matches up with the pen that it's supposed to imitate. I see there is a gold finial there, band ring, and when we do a actual review of this pen, there you have it. There's the, oh, that is interesting. This is not the Expedition number 8. It's the actual Moon Man. Actually, do I have a Moon Man here? I think I do. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I have the Moon Man from, this is a Moon Man nib that came with the P137 because I replaced it with a lemon nib. So they gave you the Moon Man standard nib. And there you have it. Except that, of course, this is the number 8 size. So this is really a new nib. This is the Moon Man, not the Expedition. Let me just show you what I mean. Let me get out. Okay, we're back. Yeah, this is the number 8 size Moon Man with the sun. And it's called Expedition, whereas this one is just a Moon Man Fine, number 8. So they've introduced a new nib. Gonna be fun to see how this nib writes. So there you have it. I'm not gonna go any further because I will be doing a full and complete review of this pen. But there you have it. It's going to be interesting review. So that's my pen haul for this week. There you have it. Be right back with the next segment. Okay, so my currently inked. Here are the writing instruments that I was using this week. I had these Ridge rollerball. I have one of these pencils as well. All of these are inlaid nibs. The theme was inlaid nib pens. And then, of course, I had 2 more that I use mainly at home, which was my brand new Majon P137, okay, and my Leonardo with that absolutely great number 8 steel nib. I can't say enough good things about this. It kind of made me change my mind about Leonardo once they got put in the mix, that steel nib, and we'll get to that in a second. I'll be a little bit repetitive, but I think it's worthwhile repeating. So that was my currently ink. We got some this is Rhodia paper, and we'll do some writing, won't we? Okay, this is the Ridge rollerball. Very satisfying click there. And I mostly used it for signatures of letters and the like, and proceedings where appropriate. So there's that. Now we start on the other end. I love this big, huge pencil. Use it for my kakimori nib as well, but right now there's a pencil in it. So it's big 6B pencil. I just like the size of this lead holder. Very, very nice. There you go. Now, in terms of the pens, first one, Legacy 2, I believe it is. Oh, that's me. Oh, it's drying up on me. I used it quite a bit, so yeah, it's running out of ink. Well, just enough here. Or maybe just dried up. Surprising, because I was writing nicely all week. This is another Legacy that I have. This went more of a silverish nib. I believe this is a 2 as well. Very nice, by the way. Very, very nice. Enjoyed these pens all week. We'll get to the pièce de résistance in a minute. This one I might not work. It kind of dried up on me all week. It's a Wing Sung vintage, but it dries up on me. Not the greatest. This is the Schaefer Targa. Didn't use it all week. I don't know if it's going to write. Yeah. Problem with these Targas is that, you see, for some reason, and that's probably why it's not writing, there's a cartridge in there, a long one, and it gets stuck. And it's a Schaefer one. I don't know why it gets stuck, and it keeps coming off. So it may not. See, ink is probably just starting to flow in there. It's too bad, because the nib is very good. But the moment I put it down, the cartridge doesn't flow properly. I'm not a big fan of cartridges. I've never had, good success with them. So this is and I keep mixing up, and you'll forgive me. I know one of the viewers corrected me, and he'll probably end up correcting me again. This is the Pilot. What is it? E95S? Is that it? Hope I got it right. Otherwise, that viewer will write to me again and say E95S! Exclamation mark or something. So if I got it wrong, he or she will correct me. Next is a Schaefer what is it, Imperial? Schaefer Imperial, yeah. Not one of my favorite. I know a lot of you said that I had some luck with these pens. It is a steel nib, mine is, and it just doesn't match up with the gold or the 18 karat Legacy, that I can tell you. Then of course you have my Waterman Edson 1.1 stub. Yeah, that's the one I ended up using. I don't think I needed 8 in my repertoire, as they say. It's kind of stole the show along with my Leonardo. I got it, and my Majon. Really enjoyed writing with this. Let's hope there's still some ink, because I really gave it a test all week, especially in one meeting, which was long. Took a lot of notes. It's still there. That lemon, hand polished. Medium nib. One thing I hate about these notebooks is this. There's an advantage and a disadvantage. The way I write, it kind of interferes. I never end up using the entire page, unfortunately. But this pen is an absolute joy to write with. Yes, I paid it $100-something Canadian, but let me tell you, there's very few pens in the market that are this sharp, titanium, piston, ink window, with a gorgeous writing nib, attractive pen. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what beats it. Tell me, what beats it? This is the Leonardo. There may not be, there's very little ink there. As you can see in the ink window, there's not much. But let me just see. We'll write with it as much as we can. This is the ebonite. But what's special about it is this number 8 steel nib. Very nice, very good decision on the part of Leonardo. They went to, they're tapping with that. You know, there's some people who will not take the jump to a number 8 gold nib from a number 6 steel nib, a Yowo, at $200. Then if you want a number 8, you've got to go to the number 8 gold La Fenice nib at $650. There's too much of a gap. This comes in right in between, around $350. I think they've got a winner there. They've really got a winner. I know I keep repeating myself, but I've been so nasty and so anti-Leonardo that I have to come clean to say that I am enjoying. And the Momento Zero Grande is a perfect size. Yes, it's always the same pen with different materials. I'm not a great fan of getting pens, the same pen with the same nib with different materials. I try to get one model with one, particular characteristic. But if I can work on the nibs, yes. So this has a number 8 steel fine nib. And I may have to go to and test the extra fine. I can test the medium. I can test the stub if they have one. It'll give me some variety there. So there again, Leonardo, number 1. And when I get that Leonardo gold number 8, we'll test it, and then we'll have the gamut. Actually, no. I'm looking for the Leonardo Titanium TI-22. They're quite expensive, but if I can get one in a deal, then I'll have the whole gamut, I think, of nibs. And we can compare and do, I think I'm going to do a review just on that. So those are my currently inked, folks. Stay tuned. Let's see what my weapons are going to be for next week. I've got a nice sharp theme that's going to make up my pen set for next week. Stay tuned. Okay, my weapons for this week. Once in a while when we're choosing our pens, we choose them we pass the week with them, sometimes more. I know some of you ink for the month. I do it for weekly just so that I can feed the channel and provide you a little more variety every week. Where I probably would ink for a lot longer otherwise. And you make your choices and you kind of regret the choice you made. And then you start, poking at other pens, and other pens find their way into your currently inked. On other occasions, you come up with an idea, and I always like to have a theme. And you look at the theme, and you pull out the pens, you ink them, and you say, wow. This is one of those wows, folks. Stay tuned. We'll go to my overhead camera. I hope you share in the same enthusiasm as I do. Okay, here they are. Okay. Now, let's see if you can guess what the theme here is. And yes, it's a bunch of Italian pens, but there's a sub-theme to that. For the 11 fountain pens, I have one rollerball, which is the B25 Mahjong as a rollerball, and we'll get to that. We have 1, 2, 3 Viscontis. I have a Monte Grappa. I have an Omas. I have a Scribo. I have a Pineider. I have a Stipula. I have a Santini. And I have an Aurora. And I could have added a few more, but I had to stop there because I'm going with the 12 pen case this week. These are pens from northern Italy. And we'll get to the regions in a second once we start writing with these gorgeous pens. But I've got a feeling that this week with these pens, I'm going to have a special week. So, without any further ado, let's pull out the pads. I'm going to try to kind of just compare a little more the Clairefontaine and the Rhodia and see where that takes me. First of all, let's do the rollerball, which is the Mahjong B25 rollerball. Now, needless to say, both of them are pretty coated. When I talk about that, I'm talking about but I feel like Rhodio's got a little more tooth than Clairefontaine. Now we'll get to the fountain pens. Okay, the first is this Visconti Mirage Mythos Apollo. One of the things I noticed is that it's kind of loose here. That magnetic closing system of Visconti, if you kind of fight it and don't go with the flow, eventually you kind of loosen it up. I'm not very happy with it. There's just a way to get it done without, but I think I've played around with it so much that I've kind of ruined it. But nonetheless, this pen is really, really nice. So this is the Visconti Mirage Mythos Apollo. And yeah, right away I can tell that I prefer Rhodia over the Clairefontaine. You can see that the line is also a little bit darker, a little bit thicker on the Rhodia than it is on the Clairefontaine, at least on this. Let me just close up just a little more. Yeah, here we go. Anyway, that's the Visconti. Next is another Visconti, and Northern Italy, Visconti is Florence. Okay, so this is the Visconti Van Gogh. The ink in this thing is, I put in, what's it called, Yamabudo. But there was a little bit left in there, which was a darker color. That's why you don't see the red coming out. Now, Van Gogh, I can never spell it. Is it G-O-G-H? I think it is. G-O-G-H. Yeah, I prefer the Rhodia over the Clairefontaine when I do a direct comparison. And then, of course, I have my Homo sapiens, Visconti. I haven't written with this pen in a while, and not a problem. It's a fine nib. Yeah, the ink has a tendency to seep through a little easier with the Rhodia than it does. It kind of just, it's like skating on ice with Clairefontaine. So those were Florence. Now, this is a Montegrappa pen, and Montegrappa is a place, and I'm looking at my notes here. I can never forget the city. Bassano del Grappa. Bassano del Grappa. It's in northern Italy as well. So this is the Montegrappa. Taversium or Traversium. I forget now. It's got a, is it a medium? I can't tell, but I believe it's a medium. But it may actually even be a broad. I'm going to stick to medium, but I'm not sure. But you can see much thicker line when you compare the two. But, I mean, would I use these or choose these over, let me just put this aside so I can get both of them in view, over Tomoe River? Never. If I had a choice. It's nice to change up, but next, Omas. This is the real Omas Bologna, folks. Bologna is this blue resin or celluloid. It's almost a vintage, one of my favorite pens. So this is the Omas Bologna. With the Scribo Blue Capri ink, both coming from Bologna. The Scribo comes from Bologna, as we'll see with the pen as well. Omas Bologna. Scribo Blue Capri. Actually, I see a little bit of blue is without the E. I put it here. I see a little bit of feathering here, which is unlike Clairefontaine. But I see a little bit of feathering there as well. This must be the ink. It means that this ink, this Scribo ink, is not the best performing ink in terms of behavior. So that was a Bologna pen. Here is another Bologna pen, which is, of course, the Scribo. This is the Scribo La Dotta. Feel the writing flex nib. So, Scribo La Dotta. And here I have the Scribo Verde Mediterranean green, if you will. So that's very, very nice. Enjoy that pen. Another Florence pen is this Peniter. This is the Grande Bellezza with that very nice springy flex nib, the quill nib. So this is the Peniter. Grande Bellezza, named after the movie. So this is it's kind of a flexi nib that you can write on an everyday basis. And I've put in here the old golden green or old gold green from Rohr and Kligner, which is a nice combination, because if you want golden green, there you have it. Beautiful pen. Another Florence pen is the Stipula Etruria with the steel flexi nib. Now this is the Lucence green, I think they call it. So this is the Stipula Etruria Lucence green. And in this one, I believe I have the Verdi Gris. But I'm not sure. No, it's not the Verdi Gris. It's the Viridian Green. Well-behaved inks, these RK inks. Not the flashiest, but well-behaved. What I have Santini. Santini's from Northern Italy as well. Let me just check my notes again. Santini is from Cofienza, which is a little town in Pavia, if I must, which is not far away from Milan. So Northern Italian again. So this is Santini. Sorry, that's me. And this is the Libra with a flex. A little dry there. Actually, it's not dry. It's just the paper. That's what I meant before, that some of this paper has a hard time absorbing the ink, I would say to you. And because of that, you get the sense that you're kind of skating on ice. Now that Santini had Gerbin, this Gerbin ink, Carnolin d'Egypte. Lastly, another Omas. This is my Omas 88 vintage with that kind of original long-beaked 18 karat or 14 karat gold nib that that used to spring quite often. They would kind of spring on you because they were so soft. And now they've kind of modified it a little bit, but it's not the flex nib. So this is the Omas 88, black and gold. And it's a 14 karat fine nib. Again, having a hard time, very fine. Whereas, no, Omas, sorry. Omas 88. That's actually the ink. The ink is verdigris. Very dry ink, as it turns out. So it doesn't, it's not a wet ink, as you could see. But it's a lot, I enjoy it much more on the Rhodia than on the Clairefontaine. So there you have it, folks. That's my, I think we're going to have some fun with these pens. But I think we're going to have a lot more fun if I write on Tomoe River paper. That's my conclusion. You guys can love Clairefontaine and Rhodia. I can see why. It's a fountain pen friendly paper, no doubt. And, I'm not going to change anybody's mind in that regard. If especially you're a fan of those two notebooks or paper. But I'm still sticking with my Tomoe River. But there you have it for next week. I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, some commentary, some just questions and Q&A. Actually, I have some Q&A for you folks. I've got to make some decisions pretty soon. And one of them I may actually make tomorrow. And let me explain. Go to my overhead camera. Okay, as you know, I've purchased this beautiful pen, which is the Waterman Edson. It's a stub nib, and in terms of how smooth and how efficient this pen writes, very difficult to beat. But having acquired it, the question is, and that's my first query, the question is it worthwhile for me to get the Waterman Carène? I've put in 2 bids at the North American fountain pen or pen auction, which is going to take place tomorrow, August the 9th. Now, of course, you will be seeing this on August 10th, and by then the auction will have been over with, and I either win one of the bids I have for Waterman. Actually, I have 2 Waterman Carènes that I'm looking at. Hopefully I can get them for a good price. But, it was one of my questions whether or not it is worthwhile. And maybe we will compare if I actually end up getting them. The second question, and it's a similar one, this is the Schaefer Legacy 2. And the question I have is, now having 2 Schaefer Legacies 2, do I get the Schaefer pen for men? And of course they have the 1, the 2, the 3. Does it stop at 4? I think it's 4 or 5. With varying differences, Do I get the Schaefer pen for men? if I have the legacy. And here again, I'm going to put up on the screen for both of me. In fact, you will have seen the pens that I'm trying to bid for. And then we'll see if I actually get those pens. But what do you guys think? Do you guys own any of these pens? Do you own both of them, in both Schaeffer's and both Watermans? Do they compare, or am I, in other words, am I getting a similar writing experience in either category, or is one better than the other in either category? That's a real question. Of course, if I win the bids, the auctions, well, then I'll be able to compare, and that'll be actually a fun comparison. So that's my first commentary. The second one is that somebody asked me what I would recommend from the Dieman pens that would give him smooth writing experience and no major drying issues. Now, in my view, Dieman have some great nibs, they have some great pens, but they're not, I found that generally speaking, they do have a tendency to dry up quickly. And that's a generalization. I've got over 35, almost 40 pens, 40 Dieman pens, I would say, or at least 3 dozen. And this one, which is, and I keep forgetting, the TI or the T1 is my favorite, and the T1. It's titanium, and I think it's got the newest generation of nibs. And I gotta tell you that very difficult to beat in terms of smooth. And I find that I wrote with this pen for a long time. Not this one. This one I had to re-ink because it was empty. This particular inked pen was inked right now, okay, for the review. But previous to that, I had this pen inked for quite a while, and I would pick it up, from time to time, and it would always write, and it wrote for such a long, so smooth and no major drawing issue. Now, is it my favorite? You got some of those springier nibs, but, and you can change your mind, but it's up there. So that's definitely one that I would be looking at. And it's just a very nicely balanced, comfortable pen, the Dieman T1. The other one is this N12, kind of a Pelican-inspired pen. And I've got it in this very nice nib. And let me tell you, I not used this pen in months. And 12. And I was prepared to ink it just for this demonstration, as I did the T1. Mind you, the T1 was empty, so I had no choice. But this one did have inks, and I tested it, and it wrote, this is the way it wrote. So if I have to give you an actual sampling of a pen that is smooth, good looking, and doesn't have a dry nib issue, definitely this N12 is up there. Now, I must tell you, this is a piston, and I don't believe it has an ink window, unless I'm mistaken. No, it doesn't. I think that's one of the drawbacks of this pen, is that it does not have an ink window, but I would not shy away from getting the N12. very nice, as you can see. Two very nice Dieman pens that I would recommend for those particular issues. Another, based on comments I received, and again, I'm going to come back to this. I know I sound like a broken record to this Leonardo, but again, I've been so anti-Leonardo for months and years. This Leonardo number 8 steel nib has inspired me to do a video, and I think I'm going to put it together, of my favorite number 8 steel nibbed pens. So I'm going to take out all my pens that I have number 8 steel nibs in and just compare them and have fun with them and do a video on that and maybe declare a winner. Which leads me to notice that there are not many non-Chinese number 8 steel nibbed pens. If you have any to suggest, let me know. That Gravitas Monster that we showed at the outset appears to be one of them. Are there any more number 8 steel nibbed pens out there other than Chinese pens? Let me know. There may be some Indian pens, but let me know so I can put them together and so that I could put that video together for your pleasure and viewing. So please, have any number 8 steel. Don't forget, I have number 8 gold, I have number 8 titanium. They're out of the picture. Got to be steel. Number 8 steel nibbed pens, or just nibs that I can put into some pens. Give me your suggestions so that I can, they'll be part of my, part of the pens that I will put together before I do that review. Or I'm sure I want to make sure, I know the Chinese, I'm almost positive I've got them all. But, I've got this Bach, appears to be a Leonardo Bach, I'm not sure. I know that Bach has a number 8. I'm not sure that Yowo has a number 8 steel. I've heard they do, but I haven't been able to find one. And what's that Gravitas number 8 on the Monster? It's got to be a Bach, but I could be wrong. Let me know. How does that sound? Good. That ends this. Stay tuned for my next segment. Okay, we're back with the last segment, which is YouTube reviews. What's out there for your entertainment that I would recommend? Well, first of all, I've got to recommend mine. This week I published a review on the Mahjong P137. Take a look at that if you're interested in that pen or are curious to see what my opinion is on that pen. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous pen. It's right here, as a matter of fact. I'm using it really often. Very nice. Titanium. Little pricey, but nice pen. I've got my recap from last week. There may be things in there that you might want to explore. Take a look at the timestamps. They're always very, very useful. And in terms of other reviewers, well, I've got 3 reviews or 3 videos that I think are worth mentioning. First of all, Doodlebud's got that Gravitas Monster prototype review. If you're interested in the Gravitas Monster, and I know it's a prototype and there have been some changes, but Doodlebud goes through, I think, the essence of that pen, and it gives you a very, very good idea of why, Ben Walsh is a real craftsman and an artist. So I recommend that one. The next one is my friend Shaq. He's just going, I think he's on a binge right now. He's going to modify every nib that he has. And he doesn't shy away from modifying expensive nibs either. But take a look at this. I think he's run into my number 8 steel Leonardo nib. and has found it useful. Now, he's taken it to another level. I mean, I'm loving it. I think right now, I think it's the best Leonardo nib that's out there. It beats the 14 karat Yowo. I mean, boring as all hell, that Yowo nib. The Nova Steel, well, they're well tuned. Yes, they're well tuned. They're nice. They've got the little finiche, blah, 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 blah. But I'm telling you that number 8 steel, and what Shaq has done is he's asked Salvatore from what I understand, from Leonardo, to give him a few more of those nibs. And he's taken it to another level. And this is a short, I don't have a proper thumbnail, but this demonstrates what he's done with that number 8 steel. He's modified it into a flex double layered. I mean, he's going nuts. And I keep writing to him, when we meet, I want you to give me one of those nibs. So guess what? I'm going to have to write to him and say, I need one of those number 8 steel Leonardo nibs that you just modified. I don't care what it costs. So, and he's a nice guy. He's offered to give me some for free, and we're hoping to touch base at the Toronto pen show. I'm really hoping that we can work out our respective agendas. I know he's a busy man. He's a surgeon, or a doctor anyway. And I've got some trials later on in the fall. So hopefully those won't interfere, but I'm really looking forward to it if we can meet. And lastly, Feu des Fans. I mean, this guy, I don't know why I missed him, but lately I've been really, really paying attention to his channel. He's got all kinds of very nice things. He's got this very, very enticing voice, and the way he presents his videos, very, very, very informative. And he's got an excellent video on Japanese writing instruments with wood as part of their barrel, and apparently it's a craze in Japan. So he goes through a few of those. Some of them are available. I know the S30, S20 pencil, I think, is even available on AliExpress. I wanted to pull the trigger this week, but maybe next week. Trying to look for the others, but I think the others haven't quite come this way yet in North America, but I'll keep looking for them. But again, I recommend it. So there you have it, folks. That's it for my recap. I hope I have entertained you one more time. I'm enjoying my pens. By the way, I played one hell of a golf game this morning, and my friends were going crazy. I mean, the foursome we were in was saying, "Vince, you're on a roll," and I mean, I kind of screwed up the last 3 holes, but otherwise I would have played the game of my lifetime. But you know what? I enjoyed it. My rotator cuff is doing better. Doing some physiotherapy. I did an MRI on it. It looks like I've got some tears, but nothing serious, old age. But you know what? It's not bothering me. So I'm hitting the club, I'm putting those putts, and I'm enjoying my fountain pens. What more can I say? It's summertime. Take care, folks. Please subscribe. My voice is going. Subscribe, hit that like button or dislike button. Let me know why. Comment. The bell. If you don't subscribe, it doesn't cost you a thing. Please do. And if I bore you, or if you don't like me anymore, unsubscribe. It doesn't cost you a cent. Thank you. Grazie. Ciao. Have a great week, folks.